Can medication reduce anxiety if the avoidance is caused by anxiety and affects the child's functioning? Since my daughter is pushing me away, and even as a young child did not come to get comfort from us, now we have learned to respect her space and trying not to feel rejected. Is there a good way to meet her emotional needs? So I'm going to work backwards here. I want to acknowledge how tricky it can be when we're expecting children to come into our families. There's this unconscious expectation, I guess, that we're going to have children that will be affectionate or come to us to have their needs met. And sometimes we have children who prefer to have space, and this is quite common. Meeting their needs, I would say to check in with them about that. What do you need when you're upset? How can I support you? Would you like me to make myself available for conversation? Would you like to text message me? Would you like to go for a walk or a drive? Would you like to have a communication book? Would you like us to create a box together? Something I've done with my children in the past is take an empty tissue box and decorate it together. We sit down and we paint, and it's been put somewhere so that they can drop messages in there for me, because sometimes verbal communication can be really confronting or overwhelming for autistic people. I would write back and then pop a note back into the box for them to read. Texting, the thing about this is sitting with the discomfort of going against the grain of neuronormativity. So a society that would say that our children spend too much time on screens, or that they should learn eye contact, all of those things. It's really important to dismantle those things, because if they're not working for us or our connection with our children or our children's mental health and well-being, then we don't use them. I text with my children. There's lots of different ways to communicate. Going for a drive so that you're both facing the same direction, or going for a walk so that you're not like this and you're not looking at each other and it's not so confronting, can be helpful. But there are autistic people that would prefer to just go to their room and just think about it, process it up here. There's also the complexities of things like alexithymia. Alexithymia is very common for autistic folks, and it means that in the moment, we may not know what we feel. We feel something, but we need processing time to work out what that is. So we might not know how we feel until a week later or a month later. So we might need time. I'm one of those people that loves to communicate and jump in there. And I remember saying to my sister in the car, I think it's really important that you see a therapist about this. And I see a therapist and it really helps me. And she said, I'm never going to see a therapist. And it took a lot for me to let go of what I thought was good for everybody, because it helped me. I love to get in there and talk and unpack and unravel and resolve things, but not everybody's like that. I just check in with the person and say, how can I support you through this? And really respect that. The first part of the question about medication, I can only share my personal experience with this because I'm not a qualified medical professional and I cannot give advice to people about this. I waited until I was 41 to trial medication for anxiety for a lot of reasons. If I had my time over, I would have started medication when I was a child, because it removed a lot of barriers that prevented me from being able to participate in my life in the way that I wanted to. Did it remove my PDA? No. No, absolutely not. I'm still very much a PDAer. I will be on anti-anxiety medication for the rest of my life because it allows me to live in a way I want to. I wouldn't be able to do this without anti-anxiety medication. However, there are elements of PDA that will always be with me. And those things are, when I don't feel safe, I cannot proceed in relationships with people, going to certain places and being around things. So people, places, and things. I have this relationship with my PDA where I trust the intuition that tells me whether a person is right for me or not, whether they are safe for me or not. And if we listen closely, our children are very switched on to this. They're rarely wrong about whether a person is safe for them or not. Now, there's anxiety that can cause us to be frightened of new experiences, but that is not PDA. PDA is needing safety, but having a switched on intuition about whether something is safe for us or not. That might look like a child going into a classroom and knowing within 5 minutes of meeting their new teacher whether they are going to have an okay time or not, because of the way that the teacher communicates. A PDA child will see straight through a mask or a persona that somebody puts on. These are the really great parts about PDA. So whilst medication may help anxiety, there is also anxiety that exists aside from PDA. So it will not remove PDA.